Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've actually made a video on doing some actual work here. What I'm doing now is I'm shaping these bump stops down. Problem is, you can see how low it hangs. I use the original equipment hardware, so these bump stops are hanging down a little bit lower than they should have. I already took off just a little bit before, but the thing was, when I lowered the car, now there's less travel for the differential to go up and down. And on hard bumps, it would smack that. Just bam, bam, bam. And it didn't make the ride totally uncomfortable. But one thing I did like about it, I'm not going to lie, you can actually see right here, it rubs down here, is that even the bump stops were low in the turns, the bump stop would hit the differential, causing less body roll. But with that, the suspension really couldn't do its job. So I'm going to just trim that down. I'm going to shave it down. Shaving it down with a multi-tool here. So go ahead, everybody. Hold your breath. I'm wearing a mask because I don't want to inhale this polyurethane dust. You can see I got that schmutz everywhere, so I got a blower, leaf blower. Just gonna get in there and take care of that. Purpose of today's video is I'm gonna be changing out the differential fluid. So I got some Mobil 1 synthetic gear lube, which has limited slip additives in it, the friction modifier, and got a pump with that. So I ended up buying some RTV sealant that's made for differentials, so that way the friction modifier doesn't eat through the seal. But as you can see here, I actually, whoever had this car before me, put on an Slp differential cover. And it has a drain right there, so that's awesome. The drain plug is right here, and up in here, you can see where it's open. That's where the fill plug is. So you're just going to use a regular 3/8 ratchet to be able to get that out. So I had to use a breaker bar to get it undone. And then I just use a little ratchet to get that out. So just the extension and get a little more clearance up under there. So I'm going to stick my finger in there. See if I can even touch any of the fluid. See how high it goes. See if my finger's wet. Yeah, it is saturated. So it says it takes about 2 quarts if you're doing this on a F-body with the original crappy 10-bolt, 7.5 inch rear end. I mean, one day I would love to get a 10 inch. I'm not a 10 inch, I'm sorry. This is a 10-bolt. I would like to get a 9 inch on this thing, or like a strange 60 rear end. These things, I don't know. They don't really hold up when you add more power. So that'll be a fun project sometime in the future, having to change out the whole rear end, just taking that off. And shouldn't be too bad though. It's just a matter of undoing the whole suspension, and undoing the shocks, sway bars, undoing all the cables for the brakes. But that'll be a different day. Wow, that thing's huge. That's what she said. Did she? Uh-oh. Might have to use a wrench for that one. If that's a 14 or a 15. A little loose with the 5th. Let's try the 4th. Let's try the 14 here. I don't know. Some weird metric. Alright, so I'm able to loosen this with a 15 millimeter. Probably need an SAE wrench though. It is a little loose. It doesn't have like an exact tight fit over this bolt. Got my drain pan here. I feel like this is going to end up all over the sway bar. Have to clean off all this schmutz. There it goes. All down the sway bar. No big deal, right? No big deal. Alright, as you can see here, the color is almost a consistency of oil, that gold color. So, I'm just going to sit here. This is the first bottle. It's going to be 2 bottles. And that wasn't cool. That hose just ejected out, so you got to kind of shove that thing in there pretty deep. Mind my words, mind my words. Alright, so I just filled it up until the fluid started backing out. Went ahead and put that fill cap back in, that little bolt. So when you put that in, don't over torque it. Just get it snug, tight enough. You don't want to strip anything on that. Same goes for this. Don't over torque that. And just been keeping an eye on it, making sure nothing wet's been coming out, no liquid. So that's pretty much that. And I don't know if I'm going to conclude this video. I might add to it. I'm going to see if I still have some time or the willpower to want to change the transmission fluid as well. So normally you could take off all the bolts, drain out the differential to do it that way, which I probably should have done that, but I couldn't even find a gasket anywhere that would get here in time. They're like, oh, we'll have it in a week, or I could have just used that RTV sealant, but I think I'm just going to stick with this for now. I know the differential fluid must have been changed at some point. I got the car with 13,000 miles on it, so something must have been changed here since this cap's been put on. So like I said, this is a SLP differential cover. So the fluid had to have been changed at some point, and the recommendations for changing the differential fluid are about 30,000 to 60,000 miles. But since the car is only at 55, so it was probably done about, my guess, maybe 40,000 miles ago. So a little more than just in between, which is good enough for me. The best part of any job is cleaning up all that schmutz. If you are unsure about what kind of lubricants your vehicle takes, come on guys, always refer to that owner's manual. Engine oil, 50/50 mixture coolant, hydraulic brake system, everything is in there. Even the clutch system if you have a manual. And it even tells you 75 W90 for the rear axle, which I just did. So there's a lot of good information inside that owner's manual. You guys like my floor mat? Anyway, you get up under the car here. Take a look at the transmission. See that right there? That's the plug, the drain plug. So you're just going to use a regular 3/8 wrench to get that, socket wrench, to be able to get that out. No problem, drain it out. And then there's 2 ways you can fill this transmission. You can do it from the top, which means you'd have to pull the interior apart, pull the shifter off. I don't know which one I'm going to opt for, because I don't know if I can sit here under the car and just use a pump, get all that fluid in there. Kind of a pain in the butt. Get yourself a 3/8 ratchet with a little extension, so you're not exactly up against the transmission there, get a little more space. So let's crawl up under there and see what we can do. Try my snap-on ratchet here since it's a little bit longer. Let's see. That hurt. Tore my glove too. Let's get the drain pan under there. Now you might be asking why that's not red. Because it's actually oil. One of my friends that helped me build the engine on this car. When we change out the clutch also, he told me to go ahead and just stick 5W30 motor oil in it. And it seems to work fine. He said you can change about every 50,000 miles. Got the plug back in. So like I said, it's made out of aluminum. Don't go crazy. Don't over torque it. Once you feel it gets snug, that's it. You're done. It's a pretty long plug, so you don't have to worry about anything leaking. And you could put some kind of sealant around it if you wanted to do that too. This is the driver's side, so you would drain it from the passenger side. So there's the fill hole there. I don't think I want to fill it through there because I have to sit there and use a pump, which really sucks. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the interior apart and just pour it from the top. So that's really up to you. However you want to do it. You can use the Dexron 3 ATF. Use only, but whatever. The engine oil seems to work pretty well. And if you're worried about that connector there, yeah, O2 sensor delete. So I'm going to go through the interior. I'm going to pull off the center console. And I got a video, just to save you guys some time, I got a video where I replaced the shifter with an MGW shifter, which I paid for. The only thing they gave me for free was that sticker, so I appreciated that. So I'm going to save you some time. Yeah, there you go. 2020 Stanley Cup champions. Coney, shocks, UMI performance. So I got some videos as well where I have the UMI lowering springs, panhard bar, adjustable panhard bar since I lowered the car, and some control arms in the rear as well. So, I mean, in the future, when I can afford it, I'd like to get a UMI K-member. That shaves off about 25 pounds from the front end, so, and it's very rigid. And it's easier to take off the oil pan if you have leaks. So I'm going to be going through here. Take out all this, so you're going to have to just go in here, take all the bolts, and then be very careful. So you got to be careful, because got all these connections here for cigarette lighters, ashtray light, stuff like that, your accessories. So I'm gonna have to take off all this to be able to get in there, which is not too bad. You're gonna have a couple bolts up in there, but like I said, to save some time, I'll put a link in the description for the other video of me changing out that MGW shifter. There it is, model T56 F-body MGW shifter. This thing actually took like an inch off the throw. So yep, I'm gonna pour it right down there because I didn't feel like being up under the car and just using a fluid pump to get this in there. So, bit of a mess, but who cares? To me, it's a lot easier because you just dump the fluid right down there, and this is where the shifter will sit. Okay, so I dumped it all in there. About 4 quarts, a little less than 4 quarts is the capacity for these T56s and the 98 to 02 F-bodies. I gotta clean up in here, it's pretty nasty. But all this schmutz. Then I went ahead and redid my headliner there with a cross stitch pattern. I think it came out pretty good. That side got a little messed up. I'm gonna redo it. The glue bled through, so I just gotta go a little light and less up on that as well. So that's how it looks. The T-top covers. Other than that schmutz on there, looks pretty good. All back together, just the way I like it. Now, my plan with this switch was to use it as a circuit for my exhaust cutout, but yeah, my nails are dirty. I've been working on a car, so what? But my friend was saying that it might melt the switch because it might not be able to handle it, but I've seen some Camaros that actually have done this, so probably have to find some kind of relay to do it, and I'm gonna tear off this fake leather here, clean everything up. So I just went ahead and put the original cubby back in, because this is actually a switch for convertibles, so it would have looked factory. I mean, not having that stupid red pleather on there. I mean, it came out great underneath here and there, but it's okay. So everything's back together now, and all I'm going to do is take it for a test run soon, as soon as I get everything cleaned up. But, you know, take it easy for a while when you do that. So that's it. I'm all done. So what do we got in this video? I didn't show the oil change because how many times can you show an oil change or watch videos on an oil change? So differential fluid, transmission fluid were the two main focuses. Car's got over 50,000 miles, so you kind of want to change those fluids about every 50,000 miles, except the oil. With synthetics, you can probably go about 5,000 miles, but I like to go 3 still. Just keep things fresh, especially when you beat on the motor a little bit. It's not so smart. So keep things fresh, keep it going. And this is Chemical Spore out. The real fun to any job is the cleanup.